Hi everyone, Kathy Rose here. I'm going to talk to you about the astrological patterns for September 2023. We begin the month with the sun in Virgo, so you see the Virgo mandala on screen. It's very earthy, it's organized, it's a very efficient energy, and that's going to be echoed and reinforced by the fact that Mercury will stay in Virgo the entire month. As we begin the month, Mercury is still retrograde, but it'll end that retrograde phase mid-month. I'll talk about that in a moment. Let's dive in and let's look at the themes for September. You know, September is a much more mild energy than the past few months, and that part is good. But one of the themes that comes forward is awareness of new realizations. And a lot of these new realizations are coming from the fact that we've had Venus retrograde in Leo and the Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So it's been stirring a lot up, a lot of internalization, a lot of deep, profound thinking. And so now these realizations get to come forward and life gets to move forward, and we get to put into play some of the new insights that we've had that have been stirred up. But at the same time, even though Mercury and Venus are going to end the retrograde phase in September, we're going to have all the outer planets retrograde, starting from Jupiter. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto will all be retrograde, which is an integration time. It's quiet internalization. So it is a mixture of energy in that way. Mercury and Venus, the two inner planets, and the retrograde, but Jupiter on out to Pluto are going to go or be in retrograde. It's quite interesting. Let's look at this deeper. First, Venus ends the retrograde on September 3rd, and it ends that retrograde. It goes stationary direct at 12 Leo. And this can bring about a renewed sense of self-value and inner confidence and the blossoming of your sense of beauty, your sense of personal beauty, really appreciating and loving who you are without judgment. And also your sense of viewing other people from the place of beauty as opposed to the place of criticism. So hopefully, while the Venus was retrograde for the past few months, you've been able to examine your relationship patterns and your relationships with people in your lives, and you've been able to determine who you need to continue to move forward in relationship, and maybe who you need to end the relationship or move on. That's what the Venus retrograde was about. But certainly this is a blossoming and a blooming time, just like the lotus that's on the screen, as Venus ends the retrograde and releases this sense of inner beauty and confidence. Mid-month, we have a lot of activity. We're going to have on September 14th, a new moon in Virgo. And then the next day, Mercury ends the retrograde, which will be at 8 degrees Virgo. It'll go stationary direct. Now, I'm not going to show you the new moon chart in this video because I'm going to do a separate video on that. But that new moon in Virgo is going to punctuate and bring to the surface a lot of information, a lot of clarity, and probably clear decision-making processes, or maybe facts in life that need to come to you so that you can move forward. A lot will come together in that new moon in Virgo on the 14th, as Mercury ends the retrograde just about the same time. So continue in this first half of September. Continue to clean your life up, clean up your diet, clear away clutter, clear away patterns that don't serve you anymore. Continue to organize, because all of that pays off when we get to that mid-month period. And that new moon in Virgo can be quite spectacular and beautiful in that way, you could feel a profound sense of inner healing at that time if you've done the work. On September 23rd, we're going to have the equinox, and this is when the sun enters Libra. So here in the northern hemisphere, that's the autumn equinox. In the southern hemisphere, that's going to be the spring equinox. But this is when night and day are balanced and equal. As the sun enters Libra on the 23rd, it also activates what's called the Aries point. Aries point is 0 degree of any cardinal sign. And it brings forward some high visibility. Something wants to be seen. The most beautiful thing that you could do to participate during the equinox is to focus on inner balance and beauty. We're going to have Mars in Libra the entire month of September into about middle part of October. And Mars is motivational energy. So Mars will be in Libra, activating the need for balance, the need for beauty, the need for harmony, even before the sun enters that sign. But certainly at the equinox, when the sun enters Libra on the 23rd, do your very best to align yourself with beauty inside and out, and find your balance and walk the path of acceptance and lovingness. You will be in the flow if you do that during that time. But for the entire month, as Mars is in Libra, it's quite wonderful. There is a nice sense of harmony that's taking place after that Mars in Virgo transit, which took place in August and part of July, which stirred a whole lot up. So now with Mars in Libra, it's cooperation, it's beauty, and it's harmony, and that's going to be echoed and reinforced when the sun enters Libra on the 23rd. The image that's on screen is an original painting my friend Liza did, and I thought it perfectly represented the equinox. So I'm sharing it here, and you can meditate on that to even go deeper on this concept. And then on September 29th, we have a full moon in Aries. And what's fascinating about this full moon in Aries is it activates the warrior principle, because that's the Aries energy, but also self-sufficiency, the need to be independent, the need to be a catalyst for other people, and the need to make sure that you are getting a gourmet meal for the soul, that you are getting your own needs met and not dependent on others in order to have that happen. This is the most beautiful energy about Aries. What is also interesting, though, during this full moon in Aries on the 29th is that Mars will be at 21 Libra. And that is the very degree that we're going to have an eclipse on October 14th. So pay attention during this full moon in Aries, especially if you have any planets at 21 Libra, because there's going to be a special activation about harmony, cooperation, beauty during that new moon eclipse on October 14th. And Mars is triggering this at this full moon in Aries. It's a little preview of more activity that wants to take place at the eclipse on October 14th. But the other thing we have going on during this full moon in Aries is Uranus and Venus in an exact square. Now, we had Uranus and Venus squaring each other also in August, while Venus was in the retrograde phase. And we had some of that also in July. And anytime we have Uranus and Venus touching each other by aspect like this, it is really suggesting how important it is for you to connect with your original self, connect with the maverick within you, be who you are, shine with confidence, and don't change who you are just to please somebody else. Live your beautiful inner presence spectacularly with high originality, and know that your original self is wonderful. So this is a time that, with Moon in Aries during the full moon and Uranus square Venus, you're not likely to compromise your sense of self in order to please somebody else at this time. You're more likely to say, you know what? I think I'm wonderful, and I am going to be my original, genuine self. I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, you can do that harmoniously and beautifully. You don't have to do it in somebody's face or with intensity or with anger. But this is, in a sense, that embrace of originality. At that same time, for the full moon in Aries, we're going to have Mercury done with the retrograde, so it'll be in direct motion, still in Virgo, and it will be opposite Neptune. This opens the door for a lot of creativity. It opens the door for high sensitivity also, in spirituality, and psychic senses fully open. The best thing I would say about this full moon in Aries is all of these patterns I'm talking about are going to bring you into the present moment and gather your atoms in the now so that you can respond fully in this present moment, as opposed to skipping into the future and worrying about what may happen and leaving the moment, which is more the anxiety response. This is gathering your power and being present and connecting with the universe and letting the divine intelligence flow through you and give you information exactly when you need it. All of this energy points toward that spectacular consciousness development. Being in the now is not something, especially in the US culture, that is cultivated that often. In North America in general, we tend to jump into the future a lot. We tend to lose our mindfulness of this moment. We tend to lose our mindfulness of the flow. This full moon is trying to bring you back into that power zone of being in the present moment. So there's a lot of energy available during this full moon in Aries, and it's quite powerful. This is not a gentle moon, it's a powerful moon. So my final thoughts on September, which is really a great month in so many ways, is that life is the real meditation right now. Live your spiritual vibration every minute of every day. What's going on a larger level is that we're learning we don't need to close our eyes and have spiritual moments separate from everyday life. Everyday life can be the spiritual moment. So more and more eyes open meditations, I call it bi-level meditations, more and more where you are fully open and fully aware and fully connected with the universe as you are walking through life, getting information efficiently, living the spiritual frequency. So September is a nice month for integration. It's a nice month for cooling down a little bit and moving into a peaceful place. In October, we're going to have 2 eclipses, and we're going to have Mars entering Scorpio. Things are going to jazz up just a little bit. I'll cover that when we get to the October forecast video. But for September, let these beautiful, cooling, service, humble vibes of Virgo fill your body, and let the healing energy of Virgo fill your body. Cleanse yourself, cleanse your life, organize your life, clear out the clutter, and focus on harmony and beauty. So I'm wishing you well, lots and lots of love coming your way for September, and I will see you at the new moon video that I will be releasing mid-month. All right, bye for now.